Good evening, everyone. This is Tom reporting in. Sad Poets Doorstep Club 4 is on. I'm stuttering already. This is fantastic. We've got a great night for you, full of amazing poets, both people that I know and people that I don't. Streaming in from everywhere. We've got people from the States. We've got someone from Nigeria calling in tonight. It's going to be amazing. I'm going to start us off by saying that, you know, this is a mental health themed poetry night. There's going to be a lot of very heavy themes discussed throughout. So if there's any specific triggers, I think people are going to be introducing them themselves. But I'll tell you now, warning for general dark stuff. And yet, please take care of yourselves first and foremost. I'm going to be starting us off with a couple of poems, and then we'll get into the action. This first one is a very cliche. It's a breakup poem because I'm sad and that's what I do. I actually wrote this in 2018, and I've added the last two paragraphs on about an hour ago. So it's new, it's raw, probably still needs some editing, but hey, this is a great chance to test it out, wouldn't you say? Anyway, this is Black Hole Star. You walk up to me and tell me that it's over. You don't see us working or something along those lines. I've stopped listening at this point as my chest collapses like a dying star. A black hole forming where my heart used to be, the rush of space, the blood in my veins, rushing to try to fill a gap that could never be filled again. The implosion, the linchpin, setting off an inevitable chain of events that leads to the destruction of everything in its pull. Light and sound and happiness and reason, leaving nothing in its wake save for emptiness, a space waiting to be filled but can never be full again. I'm dramatic. I'm well aware of this, but my disorder makes me feel like every slight is the end of everything. I don't have the privilege of feeling things halfway. It's all or nothing, and I'm so convinced that I'll never be right again. But I will be. And I am. Because time heals and its light reveals that everything has the potential of changing and improving. New interest sparks as old flames die. I take a breath. I let it go. And I know I'll love again. Thank you. Yeah, that was raw and new. That was nice. Yeah. I'm enjoying this so far. Anyway, yeah, the next one, I've done this a few times recently on the online Zoom meetings I've been in, because I'm getting published. Slice of the Moon Books have accepted a couple of my poems for publication, which is really exciting. So I'm going to be doing the first one of the two, and content warnings for a brief mention of suicidal thoughts. Yeah. I've just lost it. This is going great. It's fine. There it is. This is Shards of Glass. Mirror, mirror on the wall, who is the fairest of them all? The mirror shrieks and shatters. The floor is littered with fragments of my face. It's as close to complete as I've felt all week. I don't take compliments well. But here you stand, so sure of yourself. I look around, you must be talking to someone else. I bite down on my tongue, swallow back the laughter, the self-hatred, and smile. So prettily, and think about how monsters bare their teeth before they devour their prey. I don't see myself anymore. A stranger stands in my stead among shards of glass, and I try to move, but I'm held back. Like I'm the one trapped in the fragments at their feet. And that's when I hear you speak. You must be talking to this stranger, and I wonder how they managed to convince you that my scars are worth the effort. I try to tell you that they're not, that I don't deserve nice things, that like Han Solo, I too shot first, the muzzle pressed to my temple, but I can't. Because I'm being ground to dust under this stranger's feet. I resent him, this imposter, who switched us out so he could live the life I had. I have to admit, he's doing a better job. Maybe now that I'm in here, Little more than some twisted reflection, I can't do any more harm. I think it's better that way. Mirror, mirror on the wall, who is the fairest of them all? I break the glass before it can scream at the sight of me. I'll take the bad luck, on the off chance it'll say my name. Thank you. That's all from me for tonight. That's my part done. It was fun. Thank you for having me and, you know, tuning in and doing all this. Next up, we've got the one, the only, a star of the northern scene, Tolu Akinyemi. You're on, Tolu.
Oh, lovely. Hello, everyone. Yeah, so my first poem tonight is titled Moments. Anxiety wells up in my belly. A stench up my guts, like the unflushed toilet in the neighborhood. Depression pays a visit and wanders off through the back door into thin air. There are nights I feel my skin crawl from doses of fear. 2, 3, 4. I can't tell. I flounder into wet gardens with beautiful landscapes, leaving the gloom, my gloom, for dead. Those dark spaces are real, like a drunken man on a pub crawl. I killed my demons. 1, 2, 3. Knockouts. I wander off into dreamland. Thank you. The next one is titled Kill Me Slowly. This is how to kill my self-confidence. Tell me all the exploits my mates have accomplished. How the son of the short man next door has been called to the bar. Not like me jumping from bar to bar in London. Tell me of my mate who went to the moon and kissed the sun. Don't forget the one who built a mansion on Mars. Tell me one at a time. Blot the words till I freak out and my life becomes a blur. And finally, the final one. This is titled It's Okay Not to Feel Okay. It's okay not to feel okay. Bruised and battered. On some days, you are shattered like broken china. It's okay to be sick and tired, feeling blue and on the cold streak. It's okay to feel alone, abandoned, and disgruntled. It's okay to let go the baggage of odds, negative wind, and resentments that have found a home in your house. It's okay to weed out the debris that wrestles with your freedom. Rah!
Yay!
Thank you, Tolu. That was amazing.
Thank you.
Amazing.
Thank you.
Absolutely fantastic. Well done.
Thank you.
Oh, I love your stuff. I heard you at Stanza
Yeah.
first one. It was amazing.
Thank you, Tom. Thank you.
Right. Next up, I'm very excited to hear what this person's got to say. This is Elizabeth McGeown.
Hi everyone, I have been unmuted, excellent. My name is Elizabeth, I'm from Belfast and I'm going to do 2 poems. This first one was written in lockdown and it's just about wanting to share your thoughts about how difficult lockdown is in sonnet form. What is this screeching noise that you must make? This cawing and the clawing at your face would almost be commendable to take it all inside yourself with quiet grace. But you persist on inflicting on us each single chaos thought, each riddle, each question, panic, scream. You make a fuss.
Elizabeth, we've lost you.
Elizabeth, are you there? It's all frozen. Oh, that's a shame. All right. If you come back, we'll have to get to Elizabeth later. Next up, we'll have Christine Fowler. Christine, you need to take it away.
Thank you. I was waiting for you to come up. I wrote this one at 3:30, 4 o'clock this morning, so it's pretty new. I quite often do write at that time. And it's called Torment, so it's pretty dark. Driving north in my car with words that crash and bang, roaming about inside my head as traffic flowing round in streams which gush and eddy like my dreams. As countryside and urban streets pass on by without being seen, my journey bounded by the words inside my head that shout but are left unsaid. They go on and on, accusing and denying in contradictory mode, as my emotions choke and tears flow, and the engine whines and hums and tears shush upon the road. The miles slide by as the hours pace the time away, and the light of day does not prolong, it strays instead into the dark of night, arrives and with its evil accusing eyes, in headlights luminous gaze pins me in their flashing sight, and releases my demons of the night to howl at accusations loud, as my own light fades with the day and self-loathing drowns me in vitriol, acid and sharp, and eats the splinters of my heart as I press the accelerator down to deaden the pain inside and end that ceaseless eternal sound of screams of drive at my eyes and kill my soul deep inside. So that's the first one. The second one's a shorter one, and it's about when you have an emotional upset and you say the opposite of what you're feeling inside. Go away, I cry, as inside a voice whispers, hug me, hold me, comfort me. Can't you see? I want to be held, safe within your arms, tender beneath your kiss, open to your touch, breathing in your earthy smell. My very flesh longs for you, to feel your body against mine, to soak up your warmth and feel your breath upon my face. The next one it's a poem about how people can try to escape from their lives by going into an idealized reality and then only to find out they're still trapped. And it's called Trembling in the Convent's Walls. Trembling in the convent's walls, they couldn't say. The strictures were too much. They could not fail a sacred life or seek open doors to gain relief. They had to kneel on stone hard floors, bowing, praying as bells rang the orders, dare not speak to break the precious silence, dare not rise their eyes, only downcast heads allowed, saw flesh and arthritic bones, the gift the covenant life bestowed, to one and all who breached their walls and sought to remain until the life brought home the pain of the loss of the world outside. No way to turn the tide of the years that followed on, one by one in darkening days, as through old age they stayed, until at last the final journey in pauper's cloth and cardboard coffin to a cold, dank field to be forgotten. Do I have time for another one?
Yeah.
Country boy. It's about street boys, basically. Country boy living in the city, lost and unfound, with no one around. Country boy living in the city. Feeling low, with no place to go. Had a hard time, no money, no hope, on the street, in the dirt and the grime. Life's not pretty when you're down in your luck. No one gives a fuck or gives a second look as they walk on past. Smells the fumes and feels despair. No way back off this futile beaten track, as he pounds the streets, lost alone, bereft. In a doorway, out of the rain, sleeping bag sodden, a life of pain. Amidst the rats and garbage smells, he lives his life, a living hell. He lays his head down, his heart gives out, his last breath clouds as all around. The traffic sounds drowns his feeble words unheard. No way home, only one more piece of garbage on the grey streets. He dies alone. Country boy, dead in the city, lost and unfound, with no one around. Country boy, dead in the city.
Wow.
Or about
Amazing, Christine.
dark and repeat.
Lovely.
Thank you so much. That was absolutely fantastic. You are a wonder.
Thank you.
Now, next up, we've got Cass, Evan, Potterton, Taylor.
Hello. On my experiences with autism, being transgender, and very, very brief, minute mentions of abuse, but it's not too bad. I wish life was easier. I wish I was a stronger person. I wish my brain functioned properly. I wish my boobs didn't make me cry. I wish I could walk where I once did without being filled with irrational panic. I wish I was normal. I wish you'd stop joking about my very real condition that can make life a hell on earth, before quickly covering your back with, it's just a laugh, it's not about you. As if I find remarks about the very way I'm wired the peak of comedy. I wish I was typical. That's how they describe people who aren't like me, and never has normality been so enticing. I dream of waking up and not losing my breath when it's too loud or bright or crowded. Of being able to hold a conversation with a stranger, maintain eye contact, understand sarcasm, understand people, understand. I wish you'd stop saying that I'm trapped in a girl's body, when the only thing I'm trapped in is a shitty societal expectation of manhood and my own never quiet, never calm, always worrying, always hating head. I wish it were as easily done as said to go against the grain, against the tide, against everything we've ever been told about who and what we're supposed to be. But when a guy like me says fuck gender roles, the bigoted majority see the makeup and nail polish and hear I'm a lying little girl twisting myself for attention. So I have no chance but to sit quietly, and I accept toxic masculinity as an involuntary reality and hope to God that society finds the antidote before it's too late for me. I wish you'd left me be. Every person who ever caused irreparable damage while disguised as someone I blindly trusted, someone I loved, someone I let into my heart and head, who I thought was my world at the time, and now they're gone, whether I wanted them to go or not. I wish I'd seen the red flags. If anyone had taken the time to explain them in the first place. What would life be like if I knew that dads shouldn't drink that much? Or that play fighting isn't play fighting if it hurts? Or that the things he said weren't normal or okay? What would life be like if I knew that a healthy relationship doesn't involve that much fighting? Or what gaslighting, guilt tripping, and manipulation look like? Or that when they scare you into saying yes, it doesn't mean yes and you should get out now? I wish life was easier, but God, don't we all? I wish my different wired brain was better understood, better catered for, normalized, and loved as it is. I wish gender roles were dead and trans wasn't taboo, and men, women, and all those in between or either side could be themselves no matter what, so that my boobs could just be my boobs with no deeper meaning. Yeah, I wish those people never hurt me, but more so I wish that talking about abuse was a normal thing, that everyone knew the flags, the signs, and how to get out, so no one ever has to be hurt like I was. I wish normality was a myth, and to be unlike any other was the best way to be. Maybe then we'd all see just how strong we really are. Oh, that one's a mouthful, but I like it because it's raw and I get to throw everything out. This one is called Walking on Sunshine, and it's about when I finally broke up with an abusive ex-partner. I was done with dancing on eggshells, never knowing when the next explosion would come, simply because you didn't get what you wanted, simply because I refused to be your toy. I was worth so much more than thin ice, not just your accessory or some sort of device, a scapegoat for the evil that came with the problems that made you too interesting to warrant getting help for. I'd had it with tiptoeing around you, your fragile ego and unpredictable emotions, a danger I never signed up for and thought I'd never escape. I deserved to be walking on sunshine, and that's where I am now. No more eggshells, no more thin ice, no more tiptoeing, just me and my sunshine, and the happiness I was so deprived of with you. So get it through your thick fucking skull. That is why I left. I've got one more, which is a short one. It's called Fragmented, and it's about my experiences with dissociative fragmentation. So it's kind of like a Meet My Alters thing. Yeah. We are a white-skinned, blue-haired, purple-scarred freak. We are a leading expert in the realm of comic book heroes and the real-life loves that have saved so many more. We were stripped of childhood. We are deprived of love. We are knocked down rather than built up. We tumbled down staircases and we walked it off. We are a genius engineer who can barely pen his own name or organize his thoughts. We are 15 years old, 4 years in a row. We are a wide-eyed child of the forest, a portmanteau of fur and flesh harmonious. We are a naive leader of the seasoned professionals, unqualified, unprepared, and unable to back down from a challenge. We are an adventurer. And it's not an adventure if you know where you're going, so we are lost, and we are home. We are a regret with regrets, seemed like a good idea at the time, whose intentions never produced the right results. We are Elton John's Saturday Night, a juvenile product of the working class, looking for answers at the bottom of a bottle. We are broken. We are riddled with disorder and disease, physical, mental, and sexually transmitted. We are the product of our sins. We just want to be loved, but we don't think we deserve it. We are the last of our kind, but never alone. We are the guilty party triggering a mass extinction event. Do we have the right to mourn? We are a cosmic mystery, an intergalactic oddity. We are caretaker to the vulnerable, enemy to the twisted and sadistic and high-horsed heathens. We are the true star sailor, and we love you. We are a juxtaposing jigsaw of abstract parts that fit together to fabricate functionality. And me, I am but a fraction, fragmented yet whole. I don't know what they are, but I know their hearts and minds, their loves, losses, memories, and mistakes, for we are one. And without them, I am not I. Thank you very much.
That was amazing. That was absolutely breathtaking. Thank you, Cass. Thank you. That was wonderful. Spoke to me on so many levels. Right, okay, let's welcome back Elizabeth McGeown. Are you working?
Yes, I'm working. Should I just cut that poem and go on to the second one?
You can restart, that's fine.
Yeah, okay. I'm going to restart again. Hello, everyone. Technical difficulties. Just a poem about being online and lockdown and people telling you what you can and can't write. What is this screeching noise that you must make, this cawing and the clawing at your face, Would almost be commendable to take it all inside yourself with quiet grace, but you persist on inflicting on us each single chaos through, each riddle free, each question, panic, scream. You make a fuss when you should not. You're forcing us to see the workings of your mind. We do not want to be reminded of weakness in this time of being strong. To put it bluntly, stiff resolve like us, lock down your lips. Your chaos and your crisis is so loud. We must step on your neck. Keep your head bowed. This next one contains themes of self-harm and suicide attempts, just to let anyone know if they decide they want to turn the volume down for a few minutes. Heard a confident, competent poet the other night, all choreography and slick movements, snapping to attention the way we all did, of course. Of course, poems seem to be about some Sebastian, yuppies living in the city, arguing about the limited efficacy of their SSRIs, and in a clever swerve of their privileged outlook, the poet points out to us, the enlightened, the scarred, the lying beyond the theatrical third wall by breaking the fourth, that these people aren't real, and it is not about them because they're complaining for nothing. They're doing it, toughing, but nothing compared to us real people. And if you want to see real hurt, real street smart, street hurt, real ground down in the dirt, you need to look at the evidence, look for what they missed, look for scarred proof everlasting, look at the goddamned wrists. Is that right, mates? Are we in an elitist competition now, a meritocracy based on the lines being where they ought to be? We're in the craft. Early 90s showcase for Neve Campbell, desperately trying to escape the cloying sweetness of Party of Five by flashing her tits at Kevin Bacon in Wild Things, and for Rosa Bulk, who disappeared for 10 years after proving she was no Judy Garland in Return to Oz. We're comparing arm wounds and oohing and eyeing at the vein vertical match, exclaiming in awe that she even did it the right way, because nothing less than a 2-inch long line bone deep to finish the job will do. Maybe you're confused and kind of like your life. Maybe you have a shitty blunt knife. Maybe you're squeamish. Maybe you're tired. Maybe you close your eyes and poke half-heartedly with scissors, which isn't a lack of dedication to the task at hand. Wrist. Get it? Not wanting to see is not less evidence of not wanting to be, and poking half-heartedly is a symptom of depression anyway. Everything is blunt, everything is dull, everything is slapdash, lack of effort. Let's sleep instead, let's hide in bed. Everything is tomorrow and tomorrow and tomorrow. Sauce for my lack of surgical skill, it doesn't make me any less ill. So hold on, Sonny Jim, there's more than one way to skin a cat. Tap that, hit that, opt out of the rat race. I met my first semicolon 6 months ago, didn't look at their wrists, had no reason to doubt that for a time they wanted out, wanted it with all of their blunt, dull hearts. And I know that what he meant really was any attempt ever, visible or not. The evidence is the attempt, not the remaining marks you got, but we literally have no idea about someone else's clock. The timelines run forwards and backwards, and you can find yourself in the quantum leap accelerator at any point in a life, before the disaster or after the plaster and dust have settled. Just looking at the dead can keep us on track, but it's a distraction. The ghosts of West Belfast shrug and can't help us now. And while we stand eyeball to eyeball with the deceased, remembering their beauty lost in the mirror of the soul-to-soul confrontation, there's a timeline somewhere needs the Sam Beckett intervention. Before the disaster, before the plaster, before bridge or noose or inciting incident. Just watch for changes, would you? Your friend's a bit sad sometimes, but you go for dinner all the time, and you had a steak and talked about boys, and they were quiet, but you talked about boys. And what did they eat? You're not the boss of them. You're not there to keep track of whether they're hungry or not, just to talk about boys. And they said they weren't hungry, and they said they weren't hungry, and they said they weren't hungry. And they're not online so much anymore, but other people are, so your social life hasn't suffered, and they don't like phone calls, so how else are you meant to get in touch with them, really? They're making it very difficult for you. And they said they were tired. Thank you.
Oh,
That was great.
Oh, wow. Oh, my. Oh,
Thank you, Tom.
that was a spiritual experience. Thank you so much. Oh, wow. Okay, just have to recover from this for a second. Oh. Oh yes, that's the shit. That's the shit. All right, yeah. Right. Okay, back on track. This is the first headliner of the night. He is a mixed-race Native American living and is an immigrant in the UK. He's an accomplished poet, storyteller, and graphic designer. He's the co-founder of Fight Evil with Poetry Press. I've got one of the t-shirts. It's really cool. And he loves speaking about culture, creativity, and the joy of failure. Please welcome Chris Cambell.
Hey, thanks so much, guys. Really happy to be here. I think this is a topic that should be much more normal to talk about. Unfortunately, it's uncomfortable. People just don't like talking about it. And I think I think anyone here probably has, some connection, some experience with mental illness. And it's very easy, I suppose, when we talk about these things to paint ourselves as the victims. And in many ways, we can be. But I think on self-reflection, it's really interesting to me as I look at a lot of the trauma and experiences I've gone through that have pushed me into a lot of mental illness in my life. I've realized a lot of those people that I painted as villains, they're just like me. And so I'd like to start off with actually a video piece that sort of shows an episode where, in a sense, like I kind of had to be the bad guy. So yeah, hopefully I'll be able to share my screen and this will work. Here we go. Not allowing me to share the screen yet. Is it Connor?
Yeah.
Aha. So now I can share the screen over here. Share computer sound. Awesome. My longtime boyfriend doesn't believe in abortion. Says he doesn't have the stomach for it. Because that's my burden to bear. But we're homeless with 3 miserable kids already, and I'm the only one willing to do anything about the impending 4th. I've already tried overdosing on medicine, eating a ton of herbs that are meant to prematurely disturb the fetus, but I'm painfully Hold on, is this playing weird for anybody else? Is it like skipping?
Fine for me.
Oh, okay, sorry then. Lucky, I just can't do anything right. Hopeless, I turn to the only remaining tool at my disposal, my teenage son, who keeps a mental record of every one of my faults and failures. He hates me more than I know how to handle. And that is how I grab him. I drag him deep into the woods for a talk. Stop next to a little lake and, like Pat Benatar, say, hit me with your best shot. He defiantly resists and refuses. I can tell that even in his endless rage, he remembers the horror stories I told him about how his father used to beat me, especially when I was pregnant. I mean, it is a miracle this kid is even standing here in front of me. But I persist in pushing buttons, taunting, shouting, cursing, forever repeating the refrain, hit me, just fucking hit me and end this, please! Suddenly, his teenage hand is a fast-moving fist, every inch an explosive physical extension of his deep-seated hatred for me. Thud. He's brought me to my knees, and with tears in my eyes, I thank him for doing more than he knows, more than he will ever put together until he's halfway through college, and he tries to give an honest answer when a girl asks him what's the worst thing he's ever done, and the sudden realization hits him like a ton of bricks. Thud! Cool. So that was one that I think works a lot better in person, but we're not in person quite. And also, I didn't want to like wake my kids up yelling at the top of my lungs. So I thought, oh, well, the video should be a good option to go for that. Basically, I tend to come at things from a little bit of a lateral perspective, but I tend to be a little bit more jovial than I am tonight. I'm just sharing, a mixture of stuff that is, really related to this topic, at least in my mind. So this next one is a pretty old one that I just revamped a little bit for this event. It's called Pulling Pins. As I grow older, I'm increasingly surprised by how quickly people leap to speak answers over someone else's existential questions and crises. They're like soldiers jumping on a grenade, curling their bodies tight to contain as much of the blast as possible, while yelling for the squad to run, hoping their loved ones eventually forgive them, hell, maybe even revere them for making this selfless sacrifice. But there's nothing heroic about it. Whatever people believe or don't, they must be free to question, to doubt. We can't force people into false binaries, offering only this or that when there's so many thems and those and these haven't yet been seen. So don't tear down their beliefs in the name of no one can know the truth. If you intend to proceed to machine gun the perceived opposition with endless definitive statements that, while different in practice, remain identical in substance to the intolerance that left you with a heart full of holes and a justifiably bitter fire burning in your belly. Please remember, bullets are bullets. No matter how noble your intentions, ammunition aims to wound and kill. The principal difference between what these different sides use being the logo on the box. So if someone pulls the pin on a question and lobs it towards you, or maybe even drops it at their own feet, I beg of you, please hold your fire, but don't retreat. There's no need for you to flee or for a savior to save them from this. Simply show solidarity. Pull some pins of your own. Be vulnerable. Stand strong. And know that if this is the end, at least they won't go alone. Thanks so much. I love cooking, and that's just sort of been the case from a very young age, mostly because my mom was a terrible cook. She could cook all of 3 things that didn't come out of a box, and only one of them was worth eating. But because of that, over the years, I've taught myself how to cook in a variety of really geeky and intricate methods. And this next poem sort of combines what I think is a really universal hunger for, just for food, for new experiences, for experiencing the same thing in really new and interesting ways. With the fact that depression is something that you experience constantly over and over and over. And, I kind of feel like it's something that you only sort of win by just surviving. Like you outlast it, or there's no other way to win. So this one is called Michelin Scars.
Sorry, can I interrupt quickly because there's an issue with the stream? Can you make Connor host again? Very quickly.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Then everything's cool, but Connor needs host.
Participants: Connor, Sansby, make host, change host. All right, there we go.
Excellent.
Good. All right, thanks, Connor. Cooking to me is poetry. There's magic in every knife cut, every hunk of meat made complete with final pull, knotting the truss taut. but art and mental illness are bedfellows too well acquainted to pretend they're anything but wrapped up in each other. And I confess it's not always clear where one begins and the other ends. So there I was, sat atop my university sheets, staring at the bottom of my feet, considering potential methods for treating pork belly or cheek. An extended sous vide soak to slowly heat the flesh through without losing their juices. Confit in a vat of dripping flavored fat and herbs for a French provincial twist. Italian salt-cured guanciale, shaved so thin the fat melts at even the mention of bated breath. I settled on something simple, a traditional trimming of skin and fat, followed by scoring the meat cross-hatch about a 1/4 inch deep to help the seasonings penetrate the meat before tenderizing. I measured the steps that took me from bed to class and back to bed again, and though they were nowhere near to filling a plate, I thought they would pair well with my soon-to-be patterned feet, each flash of surface pain meaning my day was that much closer to complete. And I stayed there like that for almost the whole week, wishing for strength, wishing for a knife, wishing it wasn't me. That's the end of that one. And if I have time for it, I'll do one more that is a little bit more upbeat. So this one is sort of about, accepting yourself for who you are, and learning to, see some strengths in your potential weaknesses. Because there are things about ourselves that I find bother us, but don't seem to really make much difference to anyone else. And over the years, I always thought I would change those things about myself that I didn't like. And some of them have changed. But at the end of the day, I find there are just some things that, you know what, I sort of outgrow worrying about. It's like, yeah, that's not my favorite thing about myself, but there's too much other stuff that I have to work on, too much other stuff that I put my energy into. And so this one sort of touches on some of that. It's called Squiggle Jump. And it'll be a little bit funnier than the other ones, hopefully. Of all my non-sexual recurring dreams, the best one was as close as I ever came to flying. I don't know why flight itself eluded me. Maybe it was a result of all the before I was 5 solo plane trips I took, cheeks made unintentionally heavy with kisses from reassuring air hostesses, and plastic cockpit pins clipping my actual wings before I ever got a chance to use them. I don't know. But in this dream, I could jump higher and higher each time. At first, only a few inches further than if I'd have had those Jordan 3s I'd always wanted, the ones with the visible air bump in the heel, or maybe the Reeboks with pumps in the tongue. Surely either would have saved me from embarrassment on the basketball course. See, it's not that I was bad, it's just I had trouble stopping, though the opposing team often accidentally helped me do so. And let me tell you, the fouls were endless in the face of all this momentum. But that is exactly what carried me higher, pushed my body through the air further and faster, leaping dogs and fire hydrants and eventually broken homes in a single joyous bound, knowing that while I lived in the dirt, nothing could hold me down, just a brief, forced visit following the reach of each new zenith. Eventually, the joy and exhilaration of approaching the apex turned to terror and dread as my arms slow motion windmilled wildly through the air, eyes locked on a fixed point below. The sight of stone-cold ground rushing up at me with unstoppable speed caused me to nearly wet myself. And yet, no matter how scary it looked, touching base with my roots never made me pee my pants. Didn't actually hurt. And incredibly, it never left me shook. Thanks so much, guys. Really happy to be here.
Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful, Chris. Thank you so much. Oh, you are a wizard.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, that was absolutely fantastic. Oh, you are honestly a joy to listen to. Okay,
Oh, thanks.
10-minute break. We're going to have a little relaxation, a bit of go get a drink, go get a cig, go to the toilet, whatever you need to do. You've got 10 minutes, and we'll be back here at 5 minutes to. So yeah, 8:55, and we'll continue with some more poetry. Thank you.
Oh my God, what's going on a bit?
Hey, you're unmuted.
Some people are unmuted.
Clipper Club.
Connor, do you want to unmute everyone? We can have a little chat.
I just unmuted myself.
The only people who are still muted have themselves muted, and I can't hijack it.
That's fair enough. Well, unmute if you want to. We can have a chat.
Yay!
Hi, everyone.
Hello.
Hey, everyone's been absolutely bloody brilliant so far. Thank you so much for
This has been a great event so far. I'm glad to be a part of it.
Everyone's just...
Everything's been awesome so far. I've really enjoyed it.
Sending love in it. Good
It's
stuff.
nice to see such a range, even though we're all talking like the sad poets, like so many different topics and styles. It's really, I didn't expect it to be so varied. If that makes sense.
We're not as two-dimensional as people think.
Yeah.
We've got range. I have loved ones. I just don't want to do them tonight.
I just
Oh, I love a bit of rage. I love a bit of rage.
Oh, plenty of rage as well. Definitely.
I think my favorite part so far is like watching in gallery view, because you see all the different people reacting and being like, what? Oh, somebody else also thinks that? I thought it was just me. And you're just like, oh, that's cool. Ding, 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 ding.
Can I ask a question?
Oh.
Can I plug a couple of other events?
Of course you can.
Thank you very much. So I'd like to ask, I don't really know how to do this, so I don't know what the etiquette is. God, I'm sorry.
Put them on the screen.
Let's go ahead. It's fine.
Don't be ridiculous. No idea how to do that.
Tom, can you hear us?
Yeah.
Hi. Sorry. I wasn't keeping an exact time. Most old mics had like 5 minutes, didn't they?
Yeah.
How long do we get again?
5 minutes. Yeah.
I thought that was right. Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry for not letting you know, Ross.
Yeah. Sorry. By the way, I'm sorry if it looks like I'm not paying attention sometimes. My screen keeps freezing, so I look at the screen. I'm just sitting there like.
Me too. Me too.
Yeah. I know it's a stupid thing, but I keep worrying every time I do these zooms. Everyone always has very interesting backgrounds, and I'm just sitting on my bed against my bedroom wall. I look like I'm just sitting in the right room.
I've got washing and a door in my background, so I'm the same. And my little tree thing on the wall.
I don't show you any other part of my room because it's an absolute tip.
Same.
Mood.
Strategic the camera.
Chaos.
I mean, look at this. Look at this like pile of magazines.
Shame. This is my desk. Shame. Shame.
I'm gonna get a coffee. We'll be back in a few minutes.
We don't look at the desk. We pretend the desk is not real.
That is nothing. Nothing. Check this
Nothing
out.
at all. Nothing at all. I'm not showing my room. No. No.
Can I interest you in a glass of mold?
Lovely.
Oh.
Right, yeah, that is
corner free in my room.
Hello, can I introduce somebody? This is Buster Rhymes, the Poetry Pub.
Hi, Buster.
Hi, Buster. And this is his sister Gretchen.
Hi, Gretchen.
Hi,
You're so cute. You be good now. Do not show your mummy off.
Need another book.
Kathy,
Margaret Atwood.
During the break?
Sorry, what with the what now?
Someone wanted to plug events during the break. Go ahead.
That was Kathy. I think Kathy meant, can she plug them during her set?
Oh, yeah, either's fine. We're live now, so people can still see us. So.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, I've got a glass of Prosecco and a dog on my lap. I'm not really in the zone.
Fine, no worries, no worries.
Join us for Dogs and Prosecco.
That sounds good.
Yeah, to be honest, if someone said that to me, I'd be like, okay, yeah, I will.
Sad Prosecco Dog Club. That's the next
Bit of a
event.
win-win.
Sad Dogs Club.
That's pretty much my life.
To be honest, every time someone does a sad dog poem, I'm like, no. Like, people could do really sad poems, and I'm like, I relate to this, but like, I don't cry. And then someone's like, my dog tripped over, and I'm like, no.
Oh.
Oh, says, I think you meant to send that to everyone.
Yeah, I did. I'll try
But
again.
yeah, I did this. I keep doing the same thing.
Yeah, I've
I've
done
done
the
that
same
to
thing.
people I actually don't. I've done it to people I don't know as well, which is just really weird.
Yeah, that's always the funnest part.
Yeah,
It seems to be a Zoom thing. It's like, oh, you wanted to send this specific person, didn't you? Yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly what I want to thank you.
Elizabeth, I'm now following you on Facebook, and I went and checked my Twitter. We're already following each other.
Oh, who's talking? I can't tell.
It's it's that guy with the spiky hat.
Oh yes, I just can't find you on the list. But yeah, we are.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm now following you on Facebook as well.
Awesome, thank you very much.
Oh, Elizabeth, Elizabeth, do you have a book?
No, I wish I had a book. I'm
Why
trying.
why haven't you got a book? Your work's extraordinary.
Elizabeth, Verve are open now.
But I think I'll be honest. I think I am going to try Verve.
I'm going
I've
Everyone's like,
I've been doing spoken word for a while, but I only started submitting to as in trying to get a book in roughly December. So I've been turned down by a few houses since December, but I haven't tried Verve yet.
No, they've never had. Oh shit! I've just posted that. I didn't mean to. They've never had a
Burning Eye as well.
Burning Eye won't have one till January.
Yeah, they weren't open
They
this
do it every
January.
other year.
Yeah. Oh, right. Okay. I just thought they were closed for other reasons. I don't know why I thought they were
No,
closed.
they do every other year, and then in
I get
between
it.
years they do invite only. So you have to wait till.
That makes sense.
Where's my?
But yeah, I'm just going to try everyone at the moment, I think.
Yes.
Yeah. I'd love a book to touch.
Yes.
Also, sorry, I forgot to mention, I was going to say this during the introduction, but the link to Chris Campbell's poetry website is on the event under his bio. If you click on his face, you'll see his website.
Yeah, we should all share our socials on the event.
Right,
page
I'm on
at
it.
the end.
All right, let's go.
Oh.
So, Tom, remind us, where do you usually host the event geographically again? If you don't mind
New
me
York.
asking.
I host it at the Acomb Library. It's actually a joint thing with me and the Acomb Library. My friend Fiona is the one that approached me to start doing events, and I'm hilariously grateful for her.
And where is Acomb, if you don't mind me asking?
It's oh god, how to explain this?
I know my geography-ish enough, so you could. I'm assuming you can.
You can get a bus from the train station that gets you right to the library, like right outside.
So
That's how I get there. It's just down one big road.
Oh yes, but whereabouts in the country?
That's what I was asking.
York, so northeast.
Oh, York.
Oh,
York. Thank you.
Yeah, I know York. Yeah, I know York.
Acon's like the west bit of York.
See what I mean? See what I mean? I'm like Acomb. What's an Acomb? But now I know York because I've been there a few times. Yeah, I know what you mean.
Right.
My sister studied there when she was younger.
We're gonna start the second third. So yeah, Connor. If you... Right, welcome back everyone to Sad Poets Doorstep Club number 4. I'm going to do another quick poem, and then I'll hand you over to the rest of the open micers for this round. So, content warning, talking about grief, because it was recently the 1-year anniversary of my aunt's death. She fought cancer for over a year, and lost, but I wrote a couple of poems about her, and I've read the other two at other events. So this is the third poem, and it's the first one that I ever wrote about her. It's just called Caroline. The first memory I have of you is visiting you in Sheffield, in your shitty student flat with all your annoying roommates. I don't remember their names, I just remember I wasn't there to talk to them. I've been told many, many times that the first thing I did when I was a kid was pee all over you. My memory doesn't stretch back that far. I'm kind of glad, honestly, because ever since then our interactions have been interesting. Sharing a sandwich in Meadowhall because you didn't want to buy two, going on long walks because it was the only thing you wanted to do. You surprised me and continued to by being so very different. You're not like anyone else I've ever met, and now that I'm faced with the possibility that you might be gone soon, I realize how much I really cherish every weird little thing you did. All your candles that you never light, all the pebbles that you collected for reasons I could never work out. You made me interested in weird. I wouldn't be the quirky misfit I am today if you hadn't shown me a different way to live my life, contrary to what everyone else says, but at the same time, following the rules just enough to get by. You are an island in my ocean of confusion. Feeling like this, it makes me want to join you, suck the cancer out of you and put it into me so it isn't such a waste. I wouldn't like the style of TV shows I do if you hadn't shown me Chuck and never asked for it back. I wouldn't be so interested in different foods if you hadn't shown me what I've been missing. Choosing things to put in your will is one of the hardest things I've ever had to do.
I'm trying
I chose the weird thing, the quirky paintings, because that's what you are to me.
Yes, sir.
The weird ant with an eclectic taste who made me exactly who I
I'm
want
trying
to
to
be.
kill Kusan.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm keeping missing.
Right. Yeah. Sorry, that was a bit heavy. I've not read that one for a while. Okay. Moving swiftly onwards, we have the one, the only, Mandy Maxwell. Still muted, Mandy.
Is that me now, yeah?
Yes, you're on. Cool.
Thank you so much, Tom. It's absolutely brilliant night so far. I'm absolutely loving it. This quality is just absolutely amazing. So thanks everyone. I have 3 poems about mental health. One of them does brush a little bit on drug abuse. So just a little bit of a warning there. This first one is from the voice of a 15-year-old kid. They tell me what they want to tell me. Them social workers, them foster carers, them teachers, filling out lines on their pages, ticking boxes, talking about me in whispers, and then they tell me what they want to tell me, thinking that I won't understand the big words, thinking that I won't understand the little words, telling me everything is going to be all right. They never ask me about how I feel. They never remember that in them little boxes, on those papers they tick and file, that's my life, but they never ask me about how I feel. They add up the damage like I am a difficult maths problem. They add up the cost of me and they tell me I'm not just a number. And I tell them I know I am more than the sum of their funding. And they just tell me. They tell me what they want to tell me. Them doctors and them police officers, them yacht workers and them respite motherfuckers that add me up like I am a difficult maths problem. And I tell them I'm not the sum of my parts. And they analyse me and they scrutinise me and they categorise me and they box me and they package me and they polish me until I glisten. And then they tell me what they want to tell me until I don't listen. Okay, thank you. This is how to make a broken child. A child born with an affliction thanks to mummy's drug addiction, doesn't know his dad to miss him, another stint in Durham prison. He isn't raised, more like dragged up. Mummy's on the sofa, fucked up, face patched up with thick concealer, got a pasting from her dealer. Next door neighbour, she gets nervous, so she calls the social service, says the boy's just running wild. This is how to make a broken child. Little boy goes to school, hates discipline, routine and rules. Teachers cannot comprehend why he's also angry, why he can't make friends. Every day is a battleground as little boy throws his fists around. The local authority gets concerned. Some lessons just can't be unlearned. They hold a meeting, they seal his fate. Mainstream schooling slams its gates. Another day, another rejection for a child who's never known affection. His carers want a diagnosis. Psychologists say severe psychosis. His GP fills him full of pills. Isn't that how mummy got her thrills? Little boy fell through the system. No one cared, no one missed him. Now prison guards have marked his file. This is how to make a broken child. Thank you. I'll finish with this one. I am cocooned in plastic-coated capsules, a catatonic pillar of pills of all colours, fake thrills to still the dullards, red, yellow, pink, green, all the meds you've ever seen, as if swallowing a rainbow would transform me into a butterfly. I am in suspended animation, a state of temporary alleviation. The doc prescribes my medication and I am rattling with anticipation, battling the need to break my skin. I wait for these pills of many colours to kick in, as if swallowing a rainbow would transform me into a butterfly. I am imbalanced, chemically challenged, too much of one, not enough of the other. And if I tilt to one side, I'll be lost forever. So I consume, and I am consumed by these pills of many colours, as if swallowing a rainbow would transform me into a butterfly. Thank you.
Thank you, Mandy. That was so powerful. Thank you.
Thank you, Tom.
Absolutely fantastic.
Thank you.
Moving swiftly onwards from the United States, we've got Alex J. Lou.
Hello, everybody. It's an honor to be here. Thank you so much for having me. I got some poems that I've written from last month for the 30 for 30 that I'd like to share, that I feel is that matches to the theme. As I'll say for this first one, I'll just let the poem speak for itself. This one's titled Wise Beyond Your Years. But I never wanted my father's calloused hands across my face, nor my first love's fists at my chest, nor lies from the love before her, nor my body's desire turned against itself, nor the shame my self-worth was gaslit into, nor the silence from those who called me brother, nor the disrespect my name has endured, nor the deafening, dying world that begs me to join, as I am still mourning the loss of friends I've never said bye to. Everyone I once loved have shown their face. Everything that brought me joy has soured into pain, forced itself into a lesson I swallow at an age people consider the best time of your life. So that's the first one. Perspective from the pen. I spill my body so that my owner may not spill his. I was meant to tap dance on page, not tear the journal. I was very angry when I wrote that piece. I wrote this out of I wrote this one out of a dream. I don't know if anyone's ever had that dream where they happen to be dreaming about an ex-partner and they start missing them. And never, writing things down after, I have those dreams and I have those like lovely dreams and I forget. And so I wrote this one out of one of those dreams. Waking out of you. I know that if you'd have it, I'd have your cheek against my nose. I'd hold your hands like train railings as I'm holding for dear life, the one I wrapped in your palm. You smelled like cocoa butter and hair products I'd forget the name of. All I ever recalled of them was yours. I miss your smile, always bigger than mine. How you taught me how to speak when I was hiding amongst myself. Your lips have a way of soothing away my self-deprecation. We stayed up to 4 a.m. most nights. And I know if you'd let me, I'd call you on the phone one last time. And we'd go toe for who could stay up the longest on FaceTime. And I plan on winning just to brag to you in your sleep. And I'll stop for a moment and admire the love poem you are, the love poem you were. I find myself holding on to memories like if I can think hard enough into them, they become the reality that replaces this one. A timeline in which I didn't love myself enough to have you, in which you didn't love yourself enough to love me properly. A lesson I'd learned from a blocked Instagram and missing pictures, old clothes, stretched headbands, and love poems I never received. A wishing well I had to fill from the pit you've left behind. And let me see, do I have one more that I want to do? Let me end on a more hopeful note amongst all of this. Let's see here. Okay, here we go. Who will remain standing after I have fallen? Will it be my pride, the mask I left behind? Will it be faint memories from those who knew me? I imagine various ways I'd passed on to the other side, and I've had time to ponder. Will it be hoarse cough, gasping for air with no loved ones around? Will it be by some racist hands taking the air out of my loved ones? Will it be my own hands in refusal of air as I'm hiding from loved ones? Who speaks my name at a postponed funeral? Who dares to attend in person? Or another scenario, I make it onto the other side, where I am not I, but the ones who remain standing in defiance of my own anxiety. With gritted teeth and grateful, I see myself holding tight the hands of those who began to think differently, and suddenly we are all the answers we were hoping for. Thank you.
Oh, I've got to say, Alex, Chris talked a big game when he told me about you, and you have smashed it. Absolutely well done. That was amazing.
Thank you. Very grateful.
That was really good. Now we're moving from America all the way to Nigeria with Michael Taiwo.
I'm sorry. I actually have a blackout here. I don't know what's happening to my light, but I hope you can hear me.
That's okay. We can still hear you.
Oh, okay. So I have a lot of poems, but let me just quickly do this. This is called "Waited in Vain." I'm trying to search it out. "Waited in Vain." All right. So "Waited in Vain" is actually a poem that describes a broken heart. So please listen. You came in an angelic frame. Your lipstick echoed my name, set this soul aflame. Love you made Gado my aim, and my antelope of philandering I maimed. In my portrait of love you stood carved with the strings of my sinews and veins, keeping the memory of you in me as its only celebrity of fame. I willed your personality as the emblazoned character on the epitaph visible on my grave. This art meandering your ludus of flesh and fantasies grew and trained. Even in winter, the memories of your touch like an Ivorian leaf never withers. Now I stink like a prisoner in jail, the agony of the never flowing water in a pail, separated from the romance of the seas and oceans in Niger, and their tumultuous sound during foreplay in Wales. This nimble art pumps sick and frail, for this news of your broad laughs heard by Jane, your amorous engagement frittered in human plains. The ashes of your love shall be buried in caves of restless pains instituted in Spain. In the mirage of love so pure and sane, I waited all in vain. All right, so that's the end of that poem. Thank you. So I'm moving to the next poem. This is called I Remember You. I remember you. I remember you. It's a very short poem. So you are the contour of Mississippi, the texture of chance, lonely running road, the chalice of double consciousness, the slope of a backstroking middle, the currency of amnesia, the blow of reason, the curve of interplanetary cravings. You're the crack of discipline, the cumulonimbus of dissonance, the sledge of nostalgia, the angst of disuse, the supre of empathy, the news of misogyny, and the soulmate of sunset. You're the lock of fog and subterfuge. You are honey, pouring your life slowly into the wilderness of time. Thank you. All right, so that's all I have tonight. Just the 2 poems. Thank you so much.
Oh, that was absolutely wonderful. Thank you so much. I can't believe we've got someone from Nigeria. That's incredible. Thank you. Yeah, thank you so much for agreeing to do this. That was amazing. Now, next up, I've heard this person a few times now, and I'm very, very happy that they're here. Give it up for A.J. McKenna.
Hey, hi. Okay, so I was going to do a poem about mental health during all this coronavirus stuff, but that is on my phone, and I'm sharing the stream on my Facebook page, so I don't know that I can necessarily look that up. So instead, I'm going to start off with a poem from my first pamphlet, A Lady of a Certain Rage. This is a poem called Criminally Fragile. And in terms of content notes for this one, it's a poem about being trans and having an eating disorder and self-harm. So those are all the things in the poem. She writes down all the answers, but she doesn't raise her hand. She bites her lip to keep her mouth from moving. She never stays behind to ask a question after class. She comes and goes and sits there, just achieving, pushing up the school's league table rankings, never acting out or showing signs of EBD. Her belts and ribs, her jutting hip bones are the things you'll never see. Her baggy jumper hides the fact she's starving. Long sleeves conceal the calendar of pain marked on her arms, the scars in laddered red and pink and white. And so you kid yourself, good girls, like her, will never come to harm. You never see her on the streets at night, because she knows to shun the streetlights and the places people gather. She knows the paths that she can safely walk, where girls won't glare, boys won't see her as sport, whose emptiness rhymes with the wound inside her, the rift between her body and the things she wants to feel, the dawning knowledge that she cannot do enough, that no matter how much weight she drops, she'll never be a girl, but she's criminally fragile in a world that wants her tough. And the second poem I'm going to do for you tonight is from my most recent pamphlet, England is the Enemy, which I'm showing you a sticker for because it's currently only available digitally. I released it on Brexit Day, and it's basically a collection of rants, poems, howls of existential despair at Brexit, basically, and at what's happened to politics in this country, which all seems to have culminated in what's happening now. So this is the final poem in that collection, which is also the final poem I wrote last year. And I wrote it after discovering that I had inherited a debilitating recurrent skin condition from my mother, and B, that she'd voted Tory in the election. So this is We Woke. We woke to poison inheritance, toxic birthrights, legacies of puss, to venomous heritage, lies left untreated as sepsis set in. We turn to folk remedies, colour theory, blue cloths to staunch bleeding, sidereal ciphers, the pattern of blinks as the Queen read the speech, quoted Shakespeare, Shelley, Blake, and Sophie Scholl. We gestured to the rising sea uselessly. Our Canutish countrymen sat on their thrones and broadcast of the Channel's saving vastness, not remembering that water wears down rock, that melted ice goes somewhere, that the sea has never been obliged to accept what we say is her level. And yeah, in recent news, I should point out that my mum seems to have reconsidered voting Tory after everything that's happened. So one tiny good thing has came out of it. But thank you for your time. Those are all the poems I'm going to be reading tonight. And thanks everyone else. You've all been so good so far, and I'm really looking forward to everyone else who's on. Thank you. Cheers. Bye.
Thank you, Adrian. That was fantastic. You can put your link to your stuff on the well, there's the live stream on Facebook. If you want to paste it on there, it's on the event. It's on the Whiskey and Beards page.
All right.
Give us your stuff.
Oh, cool.
Anyway,
thanks.
Yeah, thank you very much. Right, it's time for our second headliner now. Sorry. This person is a disabled, aero-ace, non-binary, trans mask poet and crafter based in York. Their work focuses mainly on mental health with a smattering of queer and the occasional outlier. They have a poetry collection in the works with Stairwell Books, and I'm really excited for it. It's going to be amazing. We started our poetry journey together. I dragged them to the first event, and to see them blossom is fantastic. There's content warnings for panic, anxiety, and a suicide mention. Please give it up for Malin Fox.
Hi, how are you doing? How's things? How are you? When someone greets me with a question on how I, the trans, our age, probably autistic, mentally ill, permanently exhausted being am, I freeze. Mentally, I stagger backwards as panic flashes across my brain, scouring it clean of all coherent thought except for, this is a trap. If you've never tried to pin down, to find a thought in a panicked mind, there's no way I can help you understand the sheer exhaustive effort behind it. My face closes down. My mind, it is the proverbial swan, my mind, its feet working frantically below the surface. And the truth is, if I answered your supposedly polite interest with an honest response, if I told you how truly I am, your face would get that look. You know the one, the, oh shit, what have I done? Look, as you back off carefully, and I unburden myself of existential angst and anxieties and worries that plague me daily. Like, do you really want to know how I am? Or is it just a polite rhetorical greeting? And why do you care I'm pretty sure everyone hates me and the world is going to shit and I'm still unable to function normally and no one seems to care. Am I screwing up my kid? What if I never reach surgery weight and the ice caps are melting and walruses are stealing the Lemon's gig and no one seems to care? And plastic is a problem and banning plastic is a problem. The fucking ableist bastards. And what will my schizophrenic friend do if there is no more bottled water, so there's no water that's safe to drink and no one seems to care? And what if I'm not enough for my partner? And what if my mum ever finds out what my brother did to me and rainforests are burning, our rights are being stripped mined, and those with money and power want us to remain impoverished and compliant, and no one seems to care. And oh my God, I hurt. And will I ever not want to die? Will I only not want to die once I'm actually dying? And no one seems to care. And our lifestyles are built on exploitation and there's sex traffic systematically reinforced because those with the power to stop it are those who are profiting from it. And that's pretty much true for every injustice and no one seems to care. And fireworks turn the world into Dresden and trap people in their houses, and fireworks turn the world into Dresden and trap people in their heads. And balloons kill livestock and balloons kill wildlife, and sky lanterns burn people and animals and fireworks and buildings, and no one seems to care. And I can't keep these thoughts in my head because it hurts too much, and I can't keep these thoughts out of my head. And I'm good, thanks. And you? So hi, yeah, I'm Mal. I've got a few to read for you today. I've not given myself much time for blather in between. I've got 3 new ones that have never been heard before, and then a couple of older ones. The new ones don't actually have names. So the first one is just simply called COVID-19 Part 1. And it was inspired by a conversation I overheard my offspring having, and a line from that conversation. So, I have no shoes on, and that's sad. I have nowhere to go, nowhere to be. My world has shrunk to the smallest it's ever been. Fear has shrouded the planet like a fog, it disorientates. Panic is the new black with a side order of toilet paper, but my world is clear. It's where I always was. Compared to some, my change is small, while also being huge. What a difference a mandate makes. Before, it was my choice for a given value of choice. Is it choice when it's agoraphobia? At least it wasn't external, an order from on high, and I could put shoes on my feet and go if I wanted. I have no shoes on, and that's sad. So that's that one. And the second one is amazingly untitled and currently called COVID-19 Part 2. Pop. Pop, pop. Anxiety is high at the moment. It is painful. My jaw aches a lot. Popping bubble wrap helps. Pop, pop, pop. Going outside relieves it too. A short walk helps, but there's hours in between with no relief. Pop, pop, pop. It makes sleeping hard. Discomfort keeps me awake, so my circadian rhythm is in tatters. Pop, pop, pop. There is relief in bubble wrap. Each minute explosion between my fingers, lessening the ache a little. Pop, pop, pop. I already have morphine patches. It still hurts. Despite this, the ache spreads down my neck, into my shoulders and onwards. Pop, pop, pop. You're only allowed out for a short time each day, and chronic pain means I can't manage every day. Pop, pop, pop. I sit on my doorstep, breathing the air, popping bubble wrap. But the thing is, pop, pop, pop. I'm running out of bubble wrap. Pop, pop. And what am I doing next? So that's that one. Thank you. Oh yeah, another one that hasn't been out and about yet, and it should be somewhere near the back. There we go. This one still hasn't got a name. It's just simply called PTSD Rant, and that's exactly what it is. It's a rant. Don't expect anything clever. The other day, an acquaintance shared an image about PTSD. It could not have been more ill-informed and frankly more sick and rage-inducing. It had a picture of a soldier with a gun. It said, PTSD is not a sign of weakness. It is a sign of absolute strength. PTSD is earned by doing what others fear. Let's skip past the inner city youth in parts of USA, like read black teenage boys, have a higher rate of PTSD by the time they reach adulthood than is ever found in veterans. Often it's known that the most cases of PTSD are found in women, over 50% of cases, and the military is far from 50% women, and that its most common cause is abuse. Let's skip those little inconveniences and look at what this is saying. PTSD is earned. PTSD is a badge of honor you should wear with pride, gained for being sent by rich men to kill for them in places far from home and loved ones for reasons they don't think you need to know. Be proud of your PTSD. You earned it. I wanted to be sick. I did not earn my PTSD. It was done to me. My PTSD comes with a little C at the beginning, which means it was done to me again and again and again by different people in different ways, and will never, ever respond to treatment. And I did not earn it. I mean, come on, for pity's sake. Sufferers of PTSD spend years in therapy, unlearning the idea that we earned it, that it was our fault, that we deserved it. No, it was done to us. We did not deserve it. We did not sign up for it. We did not enlist for it, and neither did a fucking soldier. That's that one, thank you. I'm gonna go a bit lighter now. Tom's heard this one before. It's called Malin's Fugue State in B minor. It's a little lighter.
My favourite.
It's about dissociation. Have you ever dissociated? It's often weird, occasionally scary, like there you are, no longer in control. It's not you in charge anymore. There is no one at the wheel. In autopilot, the body just does whatever it wants, and you're sat on a shelf at the back of your head, screaming, shouting silently as loud as you can, aware while unable to respond, but next to you, the driving instructor is also shouting. This, among other reasons, is why I voluntarily gave up my provisional license. It's not always like that. Sometimes I lose time and I live an abridged version of my own life. So if I ask you to repeat the last 3 minutes to me, please don't take offense. I'm told that I have become violent in the past. I can't remember it, but the word feral was used to describe it. So the occasionally scary is sometimes an observer's perspective. Sometimes I'm over here, which is like having motion sickness while standing still because my eyes feel like they're 15 inches to the right, seeing the world from where my face really is. Usually this goes on for a few days and I go for the world in a daze like I'm drunk on perception. I'll be honest, I'm not entirely sure where I'm going with this. My train of thought has left the station on the wrong track. So, yeah. What were you saying? How much time have I got left, Tom?
Enough.
How much?
Enough, you can keep going.
I feel like I've gone faster than I intended to.
Keep going.
Right, then I'll throw another one in that I didn't intend. So I think I'm talking really fast and I'm really sorry about that. It happens, I get nervous. Tell you what, I'll do one of the first ones, which Tom also likes. This one's called Reasons, Not Excuses. Yes. It was written in response to a guy who performed a poem at the very first event I went to, who performed a poem that had almost every ism possible in it.
Yeah, he was a dick.
Yeah. So, it is going to sound a lot like a pity party. I apologise now. I have fibromyalgia, chronic fatigue syndrome, low-grade allodynia, chronic depression and generalised anxiety. I have BPD and CPTSD, trichotillomania, so it's lucky I love my shaved head, dermatillomania, rhinotalaxomania, I can't keep a job. It's too exhausting, and I'm sure the others hate me. It's sad, I know. It's also astonishing how often it's revealed to be true. Last time I had a job, I was signed off sick, and I didn't leave the house for 6 months. There are many and complex reasons for my agoraphobia, one of which is claustrophobia. Weird, right, but it's possible to feel trapped in an open space when surrounded by people. My nose bleeds every day. Has done since September 2012. My feet hurt. Not because of the weight they carry, but because of the strips of skin peeled away like skeins of anxiety being shed, each strip relieving the tightness in my chest a little bit more. I sometimes wish I could slough my anxiety like a snake sheds its skin and leave it hollow-eyed and empty to silently turn to dust, but I sometimes worry. Without it, it's me left hollow-eyed and empty. I hurt everywhere, all the time. Someone once told me that on a bad day, they have to take the stairs slowly, one at a time. I wish. I would kill to have that be a bad day. On my bad days, I can't get out of bed, painfully shuffling between there and the bathroom, wishing not that I was dead, but that the world would just go away. If I have something I want to do, it takes days of preparation to ensure I have the spoons to do it, but I'm a part-time student, or was, because I don't have the energy for full-time. Shit, I barely have the energy for part-time. When I have a deadline, I have no energy for socializing, cleaning, cooking. If I want to do something, all else falls by the wayside, and afterwards I'm wiped for days, aching, tired, yet still plagued by insomnia. So, if I sit my fat ass on my sagging sofa for days on end, watching crap on the TV and letting life pass me by, never close to the dreams I had as a child, well then, that's none of your fucking business. That last bit was almost word for word several of the lines from that guy's poem. I'll do one more.
Yeah.
Okay. It's a more recent one. This one has just been turned into a song for an event, but the event got postponed because of, well, everything that's going on. Sorry, my computer's doing something funny. There we go. And I've heard the song it's been turned into, and it's really haunting and slightly disturbing, which is cool. It's called Away. It's another one a lot about dissociation. Sometimes my legs go away and I have no choice but to stay where I am. It can last 30 seconds, usually a few minutes, sometimes a day, and no amount of mental effort will make them move. Sometimes my arms go away. I can feel them move, but really they just lay heavily at my sides, the mental movement disconcerting, a sway that is not real, an itch that does not get scratched. Sometimes my voice goes away, catches in my throat, and I can't say what I want, screaming inside, trying to be heard, fallen prey to involuntary silence. I fail words. Sometimes my body goes away and I'm left with just me. Sometimes I go away.
Oh, I've not actually heard you perform for a while, and it's always lovely. Cannot wait for that book. It's going to be amazing. I will promote the shit out of it. Fantastic. Right, okay. Perfect timing, actually, because we're going to have a 10-minute break again, and we're going to come back at exactly 1:45. Fantastic timing, Mel.
Brilliant.
But yeah, 10 minutes, come back at 1:45. Thanks. You can unmute yourselves for another chat if you'd like to.
I'm shaking, Tom. Why am I always shaking at the end of these things?
Because anxiety is a real thing, and I was going to say you're a trooper, but that's a bit insensitive to your first poem. Sorry.
Oh, it's dark in here now.
But yeah, no, Thank you again for another amazing round, everyone. This is going amazingly. Oh, I love it.
Thank you, Tom. This has been amazing so far. This is
so
definitely one of
enthusiastic,
the
Tom.
best events
Really
I've been
nice.
to so far in the online world.
Yeah.
Say, legit.
I'm just amazed that we've got people from America and from Nigeria here. It's like I started this in one of the smallest libraries in York,
There
and
were
now I'm
5 of
on
us.
different continents, and that's amazing.
There were 5 of us, and one of them wasn't a performer.
True. We had literally 4 poets and 1 person to watch. It was brilliant. Yeah,
When do you normally
we've
want
come
it
a
again?
long way.
When things go back like normal, when do you normally want it again?
It's actually really sporadic when we run things. It relies on when the library's timetable is available. Usually it's every 3 months or so.
Is it normally in the evenings, or is it like
Early evening. Usually it's 5:30 till 7:30.
Same thing.
I might definitely travel for this.
Yeah, it's more sociable hours when we do it in person. I love the venue space as well. It's like they give us a big square room. It's nice and open, and it's the lighting's really good as well. So it's a really cool space.
I mean, for me, it's only 2 train rides, but it doesn't sound that bad actually. So it's all right. Just
only
24 hours, but I think it's worth it.
Oh, you're a sweet, honestly. Yeah, no, thank you everyone for letting me host this. It's great. Oh, I love it.
It's been lovely. Or maybe lovely is not the right word. It's been interesting.
I think every performer has brought something quite different, I have to say, which is kind of cool. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's wonderful. Yeah.
Mal got me shook.
Sorry, what?
You got me shook.
Who am I talking to?
Kathryn. Hello.
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 Put you up on my speech so I can see who I'm speaking to.
Yeah, no, I dragged Mal to the first open mic that I went to, and we started this whole thing together, and I'm really happy that you're here, Mal. Seriously. And I will promote the shit out of your book when it comes out.
I was trying to look for you. I can't find you on the place again.
There was something said then.
Yeah, what? No, it doesn't matter. I just want to deal with it.
Does anyone else find it weird looking at their own face? Or is that just me?
No, it spikes my social anxiety, which is why whenever people are doing poems, I just turn the video off.
Yeah.
Because otherwise I'm like, do I look like I'm listening?
Yes.
Okay, well that's distracting because I'm trying to listen. Thank you,
always-
brain. No need for that right now. I'd like to unsubscribe from anxiety, please.
I don't really have a choice right now.
I'm not interested in this content anymore. Please unsubscribe me.
One of the things that's interesting about doing it this way is obviously you see who is in on the Zoom, but you have no idea who's watching on Facebook. So I'm getting messages from folks who are like, "Oh, I loved catching your set," and I'm like, "Wait, what? But you didn't see them on the list." And then it's just like, "Oh yeah, well of course." If they're watching on Facebook, you just have no idea.
Yeah.
The allegory I've been using is that the Zoom chat is a stage and Facebook is the audience.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Actually, what have people been saying? Because I can access the Facebook live chat through a second device I have. Let's have a look.
Yeah, Connor, how many viewers have we got? Do you have the number?
The peak at one time was about 25. There's about 13 people right now.
Awesome. That is the highest we've ever had, to be honest. This honestly, this was a really small event before we came online. So like, I'm really, really grateful to get the chance to do this in front of more people.
I think overall we're gonna have at least hundreds of views overall because like people keep dropping in and out. So this is gonna be awesome.
We find a lot of people catch up with these in the morning or around lunchtime. They sort of like, they can't be here at night, but they catch up, they watch later on. And yeah, the lowest I think that we've had views is like 250.
That's really good.
We have somebody watching from California.
Nice.
We've got loads of lots of love, like loads of heart emojis. Yeah, it's been been awesome.
No, the most people we had before this was about 10, and that included the poets. That was mostly just poets. It was like, yeah, this honestly was a really small event. I run it as a poetry circle instead of like an actual open mic.
Yeah.
So all the chairs are like in a big circle and we're all facing each other, and it's really intimate and nice. And
sounds lovely.
Well, what I'm hoping is that we can use this opportunity where people are sat at their computer and they want to connect with people to promote what's going on normally, not just like locally, but around the whole country, so that we end up with this big mesh of all the scenes where people like, are doing gigs that they wouldn't normally get to, but they've got friends there, which means later on they might get like a feature booking, which means they can afford to go there.
Yeah.
And, this is all like an approximation of hanging out with our friends at poetry gigs, but like it's not just what's happening now, it's what happens afterwards that's the fun bit.
Well,
and I think what's also cool is sorry, someone carry on. Sorry to interrupt.
I can't see who's talking. Sorry.
Sorry, it's a spiky hat guy again. Sorry.
Oh, okay. As someone who's like been housebound for like 10 years, I'm just like, yay, I can go to more gigs. So then I get anxious and I can't. But like, yeah, it's like friends who I've seen once or twice, I get to see more often, like Elizabeth. And then I'm like, let's go to real gigs. Maybe I can be brave.
Yeah, I feel the same because I live in Belfast, so I'm very disconnected with the rest of the UK community.
Yeah.
So I'm meeting so many really, really nice people and getting to catch up with Kathryn and Says and meeting people I've heard of but never seen.
Yeah.
So.
And just like as an introvert, being able to do this from my living room is really nice, and I'm hoping this continues after the lockdown. I don't know if that's okay.
Well,
but I would be cool with this being a thing regularly.
I've run a couple of gigs where I've had a projector connected to a phone, and we Facebook lived someone from like another country.
That's a cool thing.
I guess it just, I don't know, it feels nice not to be othered.
Yeah.
Like, but not being weird to want to stay home. And like, as soon as I'm done with my poems, like my spoons tend to just drop because of the anxiety. And I can just turn the video off and just close my eyes and listen. Whereas in person, people would be like, what are you doing? And also my partner, so she has to come with me to gigs because of my anxiety, but she's physically disabled, and sitting still in the same place for too long, she can often like dislocate or just be in pain. So whereas this, right, she's actually cooking me a roast dinner, so she's not really got the night off. But like other gigs, she's just been like watching TV and not involved at all, which I think it works better for her. It's nice for my carers.
And I'm sorry for cutting in. I thought you were finished. But yeah, I'm saving so much money as well. If I was to go to a night in York, I would have to flights, taxi to airport, bus from airport to hotel, night in a hotel. But because I have certain health problems as well, I can't really, it's difficult for me to kind of travel and do poetry on the one day. So what I generally do is fly the day before, sleep over in the hotel, and then do poetry and then sleep over again. So because I'm invisibly disabled, I would need to buy 2 nights accommodation. And so yeah, these are amazing for me.
Whereas
Yeah,
I have
I think
to
we need
do-
to look into Zoom poetry things as a permanent thing.
I think
I'm
it's
really
got its
hoping
place,
that
yeah.
people.
I definitely think it's got its place as a permanent thing now.
I think it'd be possible to meld the two together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're going to start again in a second, by the way.
Woo!
Bye now.
Yeah, Malin, yes.
Right, if you can all mute yourselves again, please. Or Connor, if you can mute everyone. Awesome. Right. Welcome back to the last third of Sad Poets Doorstep Club. Again, thank you all for coming and making this just amazing. Now, I'm going to do another poem. This is my last one. And because Mal reminded me that we have dissociation poems, we wrote them about the same time, so I thought I'd do mine. This is replaceable. Also, it might not make sense. I wrote this for a particular event. Yeah, oh well. I am here, standing in front of you, reading a spoken word piece that I wrote at 3 a.m. through a haze of tears and doubt. You see, I had an epiphany. I realized what happens to me when I dissociate. Like our teleportation is described as ripping your atoms apart and rebuilding them somewhere else, I'm not the same person who stood here a month ago and spoke to you. When my mind shuts off, I am ripped from my vessel, a replacement standing in the wings, eager to take the wheel. Sure, I wear the same face and I use the same voice, but there's something different. Different thoughts and different feelings, a different outlook on something maybe. I can't describe it very well. But after almost a whole day of not being here, I've got a nagging feeling that something has changed. I am here, standing in front of you, reading a spoken word piece that someone else wrote. Thanks. Oh, I've not read that in ages. It's been like a year at least since I've done that one. Oh, right. Moving swiftly onwards. The first open micer of this section, Kathryn O'Driscoll.
Hello. I'm going to start with a short one called Bedbound and Beyond, which is about the decade I spent not being able to leave my house, mostly because of depression. Daylight stitched together with disappointment. Windows brimful of invasion. I try to hold it back with plastic sheets and sticky tape. The light gets through anyway, disturbing my brief relief from consciousness. I imagine the mold on the walls like branch-like fingers, damp as new life and growth and possibility seeping through the walls to try and embrace me, rather than just my own depression condensating and trying, as I am, to escape by the means of little rivers and rot. I stare at the wall, and I wait for the dark in me to eat the sun again. This next poem is called Nothing But, and it's about self-destructive behaviours. It started with the squelch, clunk, pop of dislocating the knee, pulling it free of meat and ligament, seeing the shiny, ivoried candy apple on a stick of my joint and there biting down. It started there. Once loose, the leg was a waste unless I did it. So I crunched down to the architecture of myself and swallowed the ripe red flesh in chunks too big to digest. I peeled the top of my foot and dried it out. It spat in the frying pan and sizzled into bacon. I plucked the tendons on the top like a liar, considered the blood spattering on the tiles, percussion, then I deboned and declawed it, ripped the music right out of it, ground and fried it. I plead to the sewn-in stars and their makeshift tenants for salvation and for suicide. Erode me back to the stub of the soul, that gnarled and raging root. I chew on the blubbery meat of my tongue, and whenever I swallowed, I gagged, disgusted by myself. I ate myself, till nothing was left but the black that told me I was nothing but the black. It started with a leg, fingers, hips. I gnawed away at every piece I wanted smaller, wanted shinier, wanted gone. And when I was done, I was sick and nothing but black. This next poem is a spoken word poem. It has a trigger warning for suicide. It is exclusively about that. So if you want to mute, it's around 3 minutes exactly. Mum, I'm really sorry. I'm sorry for all the times I've walked into roads without looking. I'm sorry you know me well enough. I can't pretend I have a predisposition to position myself with intuition. You know better. Me and the traffic, Mum. We go hell for leather. I walk into roadways like I've just finished a job and my mind's finally clear of the daily to-do lists. Like I don't want to do this. Mum, I don't want to do this. I'm sorry that when I last called, I had to tell you that 4 days before, my housemates found me on the lip of the river, looking down into its throat, kissing the reality of drowning. I know I was feast first sliding into the coldness you fear, but the deadening of the nerve endings felt like all those times when you dashed across 2 cities to see me, swept me up and asked what set my neurons alight this time. It felt like muffling everything down to a hushed concern. Mum, it felt like the water just wanted to know if I was okay, and I just wanted to tell it the truth. I was just writing poetry on the surface, Mum. I wanted to write in the black with my body. I wanted to flail and thrash and fight. I wanted to want to survive. I'm sorry I used my feet to write you another suicide note. I'm sorry I didn't have a better way to tell you this. I know you taught me how to read and write, but this monster only speaks to me in agony, and I don't know how to translate for you. I'm sorry. I've never been a mother. I can't imagine how Siri get fucked. Sorry, Siri decides to respond to my poem. I've never been a mother. I don't know what it's like to have my child hate one of the only perfect things I've ever made. And I can only imagine how helpless you feel when you find me with tide lines up my arms, markers of where I was the last time depression flooded me, and I hate to make you feel like that. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry this is just another half thought out apology. I want to promise you'll never hold a letter in your hands and know it will be the last from me, but I'm not sure I can keep that promise. And I learned from you the value of my words, so take my words, keep taking them. Keep telling me I don't need to say sorry, but keep listening. I am sorry. I'm trying. I remember everything you said to me. Just survive the next few minutes, just breathe, just be. I drag my body from the pits, I spit out the river water, I repeat and I remember. Depression's not my home. It's just where I'm living right now. And I know it doesn't make sense, but I keep on going back there. Keep hoping to find something from back then that will save me now. And I know you keep telling me I won't, but depression has such a welcoming house, Mum. Oh, it throws the most beautiful parties. I wish you could hear the stories it tells. I wish you could hear the things depression tells me, Mum, or better yet, I wish I could hear anything else. This poem's not finished yet. I'm not sure how it ends, but I believe in you more than the voices in my head. I know I've been dipping my toes in the Avon, but try to take comfort that somehow I'm still grounded by you, still going. And how long for, I can't promise you. But I can give you my word that the next time I feel like drowning, I will try to say something. The water's cold again. I'm really sorry, Mum. I'm going to finish on a really, really short one, just because it's slightly more cheerful. It's called Peonies. I lie down in a bath brim filled with peonies and feel their soft crush beneath my weight. That soundless collapse of a teen girl, the emptiness of discarded velvet dresses, pink blood blot tests me where I move. My thigh is a map of a country in lockdown. See how it doesn't move, but it trembles. A city turns into a bruise I keep pressing upon, and nothing changes but the scent of pain. So I dip myself under, and I ask the petals to tell me their first memories. Rain, they say. Rain. And then how we grew. I want to say thank you to Tom and for Whiskey and Beards for facilitating this. You can find me at Yellow Leather Jacket Poet on Instagram if you want more sad poems. I'm going to shut up now. Thank you.
Oh, that was fucking amazing. Wow. I don't really have words. Sorry, that was just. Please come back. Please come back. Right. Moving onwards, we have the talented DrayZera.
Hello, hello, guys. How are you tonight?
Yeah.
Welcome to Sad Poetry Club. And now I have got 3 poems for you. 2 of them very short with 1 medium length in between. This poem is titled Scars Beyond the Pines. Forest bears these scars of mine. Treated them so kind, eyes drained and blind. Leaves rattle my cage of rage. Pages and pages of battles engaged. Sometimes I try to blend, to hide in my sheltered cave to mend, cast aside by fresh branches of oak, letting me soak under this deluge I choke. I keep telling myself each day of mine, time and time again until I die, that the scars beyond the pines tells the tale, a story was each of his deep cut lines. Thank you, guys, thank you. And so the second poem is titled Frozen Socket, and this comes with a slight trigger warning of abuse and mental health in a more deeper way than the last poem. So this is Frozen Socket. These volts no longer connect the synapse, shutting down due to overheating relapse. Over and over, the cooling fan stutters its rotary cycle. Stoma to coma, frequencies of these voices envelops new rivals. Cavalier trotting mightily through the valleys and the hills until I spill upon my fearing chills, collapsing and shattering the once shimmering chandelier. This is how it feels to be a frozen socket. Your emotional locket busted, your physical self mistrusted, staples pinning you down loosely on second-hand paper to which no one helps as you bleed profusely. Perhaps that's metaphorical, but the theological methodological mindset of the mass suits treat mental health like an afterthought. What's happened to support? What catalyzes this abhor act to knock olive branch with supportive rope to give them hope? But no, we say no as they gurgle on prosthetic bar soap as they choke away the future. I hope you choke. This is not a poetic verse to divide. Rather, we reside and hide away from love as they're filtered by the ashtray. So don't dismay and come out to play. This so is not a game. So let us all plug in and tighten the earth wires to neutral so we are all snug in full connection. Thank you. Thank you. And now we have one last poem by me. It is short and it is the title poem of all poems that you've seen today of Broken Circuit Board. Full details of this book is available on details in the Sad Poets chat after this event. So this is Broken Circuit Board. Mine cannot compute, all in disrepute. My sparks are gone, all undone, all I want is to function. Armor has chinked, just not blink. My world is sunk, loading stunned. I need fixing, please, virus and disease. My CPU corrupt, all abrupt. Reboot me, antivirus. Free my MB, wipe my drive clean. Termination complete. Thank you, guys. Thank you. My name is DrayZera, and thank you very much all for having me. Thank you.
I fucking love you. That was amazing. Oh, you are fantastic. So I'm just gushing over everything. It's just bloody brilliant. Right. Coming up next, the one, the only, Cathi Rae.
Hello. I can see myself. That's weird. This is my first ever Zoom event. Be kind. A couple of shameless plugs first, then 2 slightly less shameless plugs. If you like what I do tonight, I have a YouTube channel, unimaginably called the same as me. You can find links to my books, blog there. It'd be lovely to come and follow. If you're as superficial as me, You can also follow me on Instagram, showing my unerring skill to stand up and wear clothes, blogging about sustainable fashion and vintage clothing. I am that superficial. Couple of plugs for a couple of events. The splendid Scum Poetry people from Nottingham are doing an event on Monday night. I might be headlining, but there'll also be other good poets there celebrating marginalised, working class, and people often don't get their words heard in poetry nights. And the Barefoot Festival doing many, many wonderful things next weekend. Poetry, dancing, all sorts of things. That's on all next weekend. A festival but in the comfort of your own house. I'm going to do 2, maybe 3 poems, depending how it goes, but these are 2 very recent poems based on my, I suppose, mental journey during the last few months. The first is called Missing in Inaction. I miss just popping to the shops. Packet of fags, some chocolate, bunch of tulips on my desk. I miss tulips on my desk. Finally deciding that dead flowers are more depressing than no flowers. I miss tulips. I miss Saturday afternoon second-hand record shopping, swearing that this time we will only buy what's good and not those tunes that remind us of our youth. I miss coming home, Paul firing up the decks, playing tunes that remind us of our youth. I miss Paul too. I miss coffee, cake and kava, stolen time with Kirsty. I miss conversations about nothing, but even when everything gets said, even when there's silence, decades of shared history, and yes, I miss cake too. I miss being busy, squeezing every second out of every day, rewrites done 20 minutes before the gig, because that's the only time that I could find. I miss urgency and panic, especially when it really wasn't real. I miss busy. I miss poetry nights, getting lost in towns whose landmarks don't speak to me. I miss events running late. I miss open micers, poetry that makes my toes curl. I miss my toes curling. I miss cleaning other people's houses, not just the money, but the rhythm and routine of repetitive work. I miss rehearsal space in someone else's kitchen. I miss the headspace to create. Doesn't seem to work at home. I miss other people's houses. I miss hugs. Who knew the world's least huggable person had need for some human contact? I miss stepping back to keep my body safe, making a joke of distance before it became the rage. And yes, I miss rage too. I am missing in inaction. I am missing in action. I am missing. Thank you. The other poems, I suppose, is part of the other journey during the last few months, which is about finding joy in really, really small things. And it's dedicated to my friend Kish, because he gave me the idea for the poem. It's called Today Has Been a Good Day. Today has been a good day. A friend messages me to let me know he's baking sourdough bread, and he would like nothing more, he says, than to stand at my door, cradling a loaf still oven warm, a loaf that we would tear apart with bare hands, smear the hunks with that good Polish jam, sit in the small sliver of my garden that gets the morning sun, drink coffee out of mugs as big as bowls, and pretend we're in France or somewhere else. But of course he can't, so instead sends a photograph, and in return I unearth the cherry jam now lost behind a stack of tins. Take another picture, the promise of jam tomorrow. Do you want another one or not? I won't be offended if you say no.
Yes, please.
Okay, so we've been hearing a lot about key workers. This poem was written before the word key worker even existed. It's a poem about the people you never noticed before, the people who don't earn very much money. It's called There's More to Your Cleaner Than Meets the Eye. There is more to your cleaner than meets the eye. That one gets up at 5, runs as fast and far as heart and lungs can bear, revels in the recognition from other early morning pavement pounders, and then puts on the uniform of tabard bleach-stained leggings, becomes invisible again. That one knows the name of every star that's in the sky, and more than that can tell you why they are so named, but has spent so long on hands and knees, she fears she may have lost the knack of looking up. That one's boyfriend's banged up again. Working double shifts, she has curated a collection of childcare so complicated, tenuous, in a gallery, you would call it web or DNA of every day. That one says she's lucky. In a refugee camp far away at 15, 16, The soldiers said she was too old to rape, so mostly she was left alone. That one speaks 5 languages, including yours, so knows exactly what your husband and his mates make of her arse when she bends down to scrub your skirting boards. Laser jets from lowered lids, if looks could kill. That one holds a broken bird, a touch so light it's if her hands were wings and not these red and swollen things, fingerprints burnt off with bleach. Convenient, she always thinks, should she start a new career as master thief. And this one's writing poetry, verse as vicious as vipers, mouth so acidic it makes diamonds bleed. This one's writing poetry. There is more to your cleaner than you will ever see. Thank you so much for letting me take part tonight. It's been lovely. Bye-bye.
Fantastic stuff, Cathi. Thank you so much. You are fantastic. Absolutely wonderful. Yeah, thank you for agreeing to do this and learning how to use Zoom. It was fantastic. Now, next up, thank you for doing this, by the way. Very last minute edition, Ross Punton.
Hiya, can you hear us?
Yes.
Oh, good. My computer's awful. I've got a short one, a slightly longer one, and a short one. Is that okay?
Absolutely fantastic.
Yeah. I've still been going to work 3 times a week at the moment, and I'm lucky to live near the coast, so I can get a nice bit of fresh air most days. And I've noticed loads of people who don't abide by the guidelines, who are obviously not living together, or who are just like hanging around, drinking. I mean, most people aren't, but I see like lots of people who flout the rules. And ever since he said you can now drive places and go more than once a day, it's just got worse. I just wrote this the other day, so it's quite new. It's called Mantra of Delusional. Why do we have to stay in? It's not going to touch us, this virus. Radical action needed. Don't make me laugh. The virus doesn't touch people like us. What a load of fuss. We're perfectly safe. We live in a nice place. It won't reach here. Don't worry, my dear. The next one, I'm sure a lot of us have known people who are quite nice some of the time. When they're not getting their own way or have a little bit of power, they kind of like to kick you when you're down. I have Asperger's syndrome. Very occasionally I meet people like this. So this is a combination of a few people I've met who kind of like belittled us, and it's a response. Now I'm feeling a little bit more confident. Called "You Say You're Sorry." You smug git, lacking in charm and wit. You just stroll up, smile on your face. You want to apologise? Well, galoo galay. Go on, make our day. You can't push aside your wrongs that way. The things you've done, the things you've said, cannot with discourse alone be put to bed. You think you can stand there looking smug, drinking coffee from your posh mug? On and on you go, your fancy words and your excuses, none of whom have any uses, other than to cover your own back, because you were slack. You messed up, this you know. You think it'll matter? You think it won't matter? It'll not matter? You put on this little show? I'm so sorry, you smug git. I don't accept your apology, not one bit. Okay, and the last one is just a very short one. It's I wouldn't call myself an introvert. I can be quite sociable, but sometimes I do like just like when I'm out with people, sometimes I'll slink off and I'll just have a little breather. But this happened when I was out with some people, and this person just came up to us and, well, I'll just read it. An unknown, it's called Thanks for Advice, by the way. An unknown person approached me the other night, walked over uninvited to where I stood. And what an amazing, insightful thing she had to say. Don't frown, smile, she said, and left with a jolly nod of her head. Well, what can I say? The wish this do-gooder who went out of their way. I'll tell you. Push off, you interfering, know-nothing, busybody, superior talking, bossy stranger. I was actually enjoying my day. Emphasis on was. That's it. Thanks for having us.
Thank you, Ross. That was wonderful. Oh, your second poem was my favourite. It's always my favourite. It's wonderful. It's really good.
Oh, someone said the sound was a bit quiet. I'm sorry.
It's all right. It's okay. It was a bit quiet, but I could still hear you. And going by the chat, other people can still hear you. It's okay. Don't worry.
Good.
Right. The last open micer of this event. I'm very happy to introduce you to Lauren Fordham.
Hey, I've got two that I'll start off with. This first one has very, very strong overtures of suicidal ideation / attempt, but it doesn't actually reflect how I feel at the moment, but just there you go. It's called Take Your Medicine. The tiny tablets tremble in your palm, wobbling like your resolve, blue like the sky above you, once stunning sapphire, now paled, watercoloured like the tears you cannot shed, rusty reddish brick-like brown of the invisible impenetrable walls between you and your loved ones, pale yellow like a dying daffodil, yet no hospice for this hell. Each pill alone like a single raindrop, soft, silent, suddenly with companions start to cascade, rushing into a relentless, deafening waterfall, pitching you over the precipice. Taste the rainbow, the tagline goes, a rainbow that was supposed to bring back sweetness to your barren mouth, colour to your washed out palate, paint pretty patterns on the shell you've retreated into, a hollow, hopeless, helpless husk of your farmer self. The pills perch patiently, lined up like paratroopers waiting for the jump, pharmaceutical parachutes for when the plane you're haphazardly piloting finally runs out of fuel. Yet in that great psychological paradox, your poison is also the potion that keeps you present, precious in that way, even when it's painful. In your head, you hear the sound of another airplane. For rescue or rendition, you care not. But the buzzing comes from your mother's lips, mouth smiling and unwrinkled in your memory's eye as she weaves a vegetable mush-containing spoon towards your baby mouth. The pressure of her pending pain punctures your venous system and, like crushing chest compressions, coerces your flatlined brain into a shaky sinus rhythm. So you pop your pills in prescribed doses only, and like Sisyphus, push on. The next one should probably have a content warning for disordered eating, even though it's not actually, it's kind of metaphorical, but it might trigger people that do have histories of that. So here we go. Communion. They say life is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get. Dark, nutty and bitter. This one's coffee. You never like coffee. That coat of arms of adulthood. With coffee, though, comes cake, like Bruce Bogtrotter stole. Sweet, swiftly becomes sickly. You realise you've bitten off more than you can chew. Can't possibly manage another mouthful. Your jaw aches like trying to masticate rock. The cud bitter on your tongue, choking you, yet you can't stop chewing. An everlasting gobstopper that never gets smaller. You want to retch, spit it out, say enough. But life is a dictatorial dinner lady who won't let you get down from her table. A wicked Willy Wonka, force-feeding you like a suffragette, insensible to your supplications of surrender. Around you, others relish their portion, even savour it. Shame shoots like a shiver down your ungrateful spine. There are children starving in Africa, you know. Your podgy privilege presses down on you like the weight of a pro wrestler pushing on your throat. Your mistakes and regrets rise up like reflux, repeating on you again and again. Yet sometimes, when you dig your rusty voice out from behind the great big lump blocking your larynx, kind words coat your throat and soothe your soul. Sweet, simple medicine. They coax you to open up again, your heart and your mouth to life. And hesitant, but hopeful, you take just one more spoonful. Have I got time for another one? Or yeah. This is called The Gift of Friendship, and it's based on some friends that I have that are overseas, and the various gifts that we've exchanged, and kind of the gift of their shared friendship to me and things. So what it does. Gifts. A package of pink marshmallow peeps in international post. Fluorescent chicks bring a smile as you bite off their heads. A reminder of your inner rebel. A horseshoe of hope, providing padding and protection for a hurting heart as well as aching feet. Reigniting the fire within you to forge ahead, one foot in front of the other. Your steps shaky but stubborn, wrapped in a red blanket of living love. A shirt that imbues the strength of the Marines every time it is worn. They know your purple heart. Your accolades entirely unequal, yet they proclaim your worth. Screw your courage to the sticking place. Rip off the poisonous plaster of toxic independent pride. There is strength in vulnerability. Airing this wound does bring healing. Companionship comforts and coagulates. Words on websites uniting people across the world. Wise women, wild women, warriors, to wrestle your demons when you are sapped of strength. Or hold your hand and wait till you can lift your sword again.
Fantastic stuff, Lauren. Fantastic stuff. Thank you so much. Oh yeah, I always drift off when you're talking. I just get really into it. It's just really visual. Oh, love it. Right, before the last performer of the night, I'd just like to say a massive, massive thank you to Connor Sansby and everyone at Whiskey and Beards Publishing for putting us on tonight and just being so cool and nice and forgiving that I've gone over time. You are the best, Connor. Just a little round of applause for you. Right. The last performer of the event. They are an autistic, genderqueer performance poet from Sheffield. They've been performing poetry for more than 20 years. You can read their daily sonnets about the ongoing... It says gesture vaguely at everything, so I'm going to. By looking at the hashtag Sonnets from the Torture Days on Twitter. They've got a book too. The link to that is on their bio on the event page. Look for their face and press it and you get the link to the book. It's really good. It's a really good book. You should definitely read it. Anyway, give it up for Saren Thomason.
Hello. So I'm going to do poems about autism, and I feel like I don't want to conflate autism with mental illness, because it's a mental illness thing. And it's a different issue. Autism isn't a mental illness, but at the same time, anxiety and depression can very often be comorbid with autism. So I want to talk about that as well. But I'm also going to talk about autism. Dealing with neurotypical world can cause a lot of fucking stress. There's a crossover. High functioning autistic people have a lot of mental health problems. We try to hide it, we try to mask it, but it happens. So I have been doing a thing over the time of the plague and the COVIDs of writing sonnets every day. So I want to read you some of those sonnets. This one is about my feelings about my situation, which is that I am technically a key worker, but I'm not needed in my job at the moment because we haven't got enough kids in because of the schools being out. And so I'm not needed, but if I was needed, I would have to go in. So I'm in this kind of Schrodinger's key worker situation. I'm furloughed and I don't want to go back. I have a job, but really I applied for it in desperation because I lack the skill to make the government decide to help people like me. I find it tough to interact, to concentrate. I find that even working part-time is enough to cause me some distress. I wouldn't mind staying at home, just working when I can and claiming benefits when it's too much. It's not some greedy Machiavellian plan to treat taxpayers like an easy touch. But COVID has bestowed something I thought I had no chance of: government support. Fucked up that one. But... So this is a poem called Gormy, which was written before I knew that I was autistic. I can't stop thinking about Amanda. I haven't seen her since 1995. I don't even know if she's still alive, but I can't stop thinking about her icy pale baby blue eyes and perfectly sculpted spiral blonde hair and a school uniform that looked like a school uniform you'd wear to a school disco themed club night, not an actual school disco or an actual school, unless it was North Yorkshire and you were the nearest thing for miles to cool. And I can feel her giving me the once over, the up and down appraisal for her of my wrong size hair and my wrong size boobs and my wrong size shoes and my wrong expression on my face, and I brace for the judgment, and she says, "You're Gormy." And inside my head I'm thinking, well, actually she's kind of right, because actually there's too much going on behind my eyes. And sorry, I've forgotten the poem. She says there's nothing going on behind my eyes, and actually there's too much going on behind my eyes. Like, how is there so much going on? I'm so sorry.
It's okay, don't worry. It's all right.
Thank you for the snaps. And actually, there's so much going on behind my eyes. Like, read from the page. I haven't written this down in like 10 years. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do a different poem, because that one's apparently gone out of my head.
That works.
Because this is a poem about having a bad brain and the brain not working all the time, so that's good. So I'm sitting in this absence disciplinary, return to work support meeting. You have to use the right vocabulary because this absence record is higher than the targets they set me. Key performance indicators. Targets seem harsh and unreasonable when you start trying to apply them to sick people, but KPIs, they're somehow less evil, and my employee file is thick with sick notes. Fit notes. As in, fit to be working. A sick note's a letter to say that you're shirking, and that's the ever-lurking accusation. I'm faking. I'm lazy, and somewhere in that sheaf of notes is my official diagnosis: high functioning autism. And everyone knows that first bit is bullshit. I'm barely functioning, and they wish they'd hand in my notice, and I wish I'd hand in my notice. But what the high-low distinction means is this person can probably hold down a job. They're fit to be working, maybe not too high paid, nothing special, but they can earn a wage even though they are lesser. Let them do something with spreadsheets. They'll like that better. And even though, yes, they can say they're disabled, demand reasonable adjustments like maybe a table in a quieter corner, if they say they can't cope, they can't work at all, well, they're high functioning. No metric on a DLA form will find them wanting, let alone needing help. So the job, I have to do it. It will have to do, even though I know and they know. If I break down at my desk tomorrow, the day after, next week too, I say to my boss as she looks at my notes, there's some things that I'm in my workplace I struggle to cope with because I'm autistic. Her head jerks up as if I've said something horrific. But you're not, she snaps. Well, that's news to me, and my brain doesn't like me to contradict people it sees as official, and this woman's holding a clipboard. I'm pretty sure about this one, so I try again. I am. You got the letter from my assessment. I have autism. At this point, it's just guesswork. What magical phrase do I need to impress her? No, you haven't. What you have is Asperger's syndrome. Now, let me rewind. You have to excuse me, it's something my mind likes to do. No tangent unfollowed, but this information might well be new to you. Hans Asperger was a Nazi. And that's not hyperbole. I'm autistic, remember. I'm talking literally. Austria, Third Reich, master race, Nazi. This was a man who sent disabled children to their deaths because think of the burden they would be to their parents. But apparently he made a groundbreaking discovery that some of us weren't quite as bad as we seem to be, that we might have our uses, have some social worth. And while the best thing for a drain on the state is euthanasia, to euthanize us might actually be a waste of labour. And this man gave his name to a syndrome. A euphemistic, neat semantic trick that meant, yes, you're autistic, but one of the good ones. Or you're not autistic, that's only the ones who can't work, the ones who are really disabled. It's a measure of worth if your worth can be measured in wages. So I look at this woman, the distinction she's making, the language she's choosing, the boxes she's ticking, and my throat is aching with the scream that I'm swallowing, and my shoulders are hunching, hiding in the panic attack, because that's what they mean by high functioning. That you can look without flinching right into the eyes of someone who'll give you the name of a Nazi to make the linguistic distinction that you should be useful and able to work. Because really, how else are you supposed to prove your worth? Thank you. So I'm going to do another sonnet from my series of sonnets, because me doing long poems has clearly not worked out well. I'm tired of I'm tired of doing nothing. I'm worn out by staying in. No, that's not what I have to do. Sorry. Let's all line up now, like good girls and boys. No, Dylan, that's not 2 meters apart now, is it, dear? Please stop making that noise. You're spraying nasty droplets, and, well, fart noises aren't very nice. No, thank you, Jade. You really mustn't get the meter stick to show Dylan 2 meters. I'm afraid he'll have to try and guess. Will he get sick and fluey if he doesn't? I don't know, Roxana, but we've got to try our best and be brave boys and girls, haven't we? No, Junaid, I haven't had that special test. Yes, Alex, it is frightening. That is why we've got to be so careful. please don't cry. And the last poem I want to do is a poem about autism. I'm here representing the autists and Aspies and neuroatypicals, people who find interaction so difficult, try to blend in, but we can't with the crowd. We're either too quiet or suddenly loud at the wrong time, but sometimes we want to fit in what we wouldn't give to feel kinship with actual kin, but the din of the crowd that we try to fade into is too much. It's too loud, it's too overwhelming, and all the well-meaning advice isn't helping. We suddenly snap. Oh, and now it's gone silent. Your noise is just background, and our noise is violent. When you get on our nerves, it's because we're let down. When we get on yours, it's... Wait, sorry. We're just having a meltdown. We need to learn strategies, learn how to cope with the way that you are when you won't even meet us halfway. How about nope? Because I'm not a piece of a jigsaw for you to just solve. And if you saw what we saw, we wouldn't be trying to take it away with a fix or a cure or a vaccine to blame, because we can find beauty in numbers and trains and the intricate pattern of pattering rain and the way that the light hits the links in a chain and historical plans of how Romans made trains. But you say we won't see the world how it's meant to be. Everything's wrong, and you say we've no empathy. Mate, we've so much that it's causing us pain as we feel all the tension around us flooding into our brains, and there's nothing to do but lock in on numbers and patterns and theories and trains till it all ebbs away. And there's no something like peace. But it can't stay that way, at least not when you're there to make us aware we're unnatural, unwanted, unhealthy, unfair. We need to police our responses, but don't seem to care about what's underneath the blank stare. This world is so sharp that it cuts us. But we came prepared. There's places we know we can go, and we're scared, and we know that it hurts you to know you can't follow us there. And I know that you think when I gaze into space that for you it's a source of disgrace that you can't see emotions you think I should see on my face. And I know when I look at you blankly it causes alarm, because this isn't my soul that you see on my face. It's my own. Thank you. I'm gonna...
Thank you, sir.
Okay, yeah, no, I'm gonna come back to that.
I appreciate it so much.
Well, we are Nigerian, now.
Thank you, Mal. Thank you, Chris. Thank you, Conan. Thank you, Whiskey and Beards. Thank you, every performer and audience member tonight. This has been a resounding success. You've all made this what it is. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much for letting me be here. Bye.
Thank you, Tom.
Thanks for running it.
Thank you all.
Thank you, Tom.
Bye.
Bye, everyone. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.